2025 and is a good time to check in on your financials. So here to help us do just that is Maggie Johndrow at Johndrow Wealth Management. Good morning. And thanks for being here on this Thursday. So what can people do to ensure they finish the year strong?
Sure. I really think of it as two buckets, your short-term goals and your long-term goals, and you want to revisit both. So on the short-term side, maybe you're saving for a new car, maybe you're saving for a vacation. The best way to save for that, in my opinion, is take the goal and divide it by the amount of months you have and to get to that goal and save every month. So now's a great time to check in to see if those end of the year goals or start of 2026 goals, if you're on track to make them.
Always have a plan. That is really the key. Also contributions, managing those contributions and maybe experimenting with the different options like a Roth IRA account. Why is that a good option for people?
Yes, so that's your long-term bucket. For many accounts, anything that's employer sponsored, like a 401k or a Roth 401k, those contributions come out of your paycheck and need to be done by the end of this year, by 12/31. You can't kind of make it next year. So you want to adjust your paycheck now so that you put in as much as you'd like by the end of the year. Now, Roth accounts, like a Roth IRA or a traditional IRA, you do have until the tax deadline in April of 2026 to make a contribution for 2025. So you get a little bit more leeway there. If you want to do a Roth conversion, which is also part of your question, those have to be done by the end of the year too. And that is a way to move pre-tax money, so money you haven't paid tax on yet, into an account where the money will then grow tax-free for the rest of your life. They are tricky, Roth conversions, but a really great long-term planning tool.
But if you do all this midway through the year and don't wait till the end of the year, it can save you a lot of stress and hassle.
Absolutely, because those deadlines are strict. They are imposed by the IRS, not by someone arbitrarily. And so really, if you miss it, you can't do it.
Tax season has come and gone. It might be in the rearview mirror for a lot of people. Why is it something that should be top of mind for many of us as we review and plan, and maybe if we owe some taxes, we budget for that?
Yes. So if you owed taxes last time, if you haven't already, definitely look at your withholding now. There's a calculator on the IRS website that anyone can use, or contact a professional, because you don't want to owe at the end of the year and have that kind of sneaky bill, right? The goal is to pay enough so that you don't really get too much back or owe too much. And so now's a great time to do that because you have time to adjust that by the end of the year. Also, any sort of major life changes may cause you to owe more or less in taxes. Getting married, for example, having a child, buying a home. So if you did any of those things in the past 6 months, contact a professional to see how that would impact your taxes.
Let's talk about everyday expenses, because a lot of us are still feeling the effects of inflation. A lot of prices are sky high everywhere at the food store and elsewhere. So how can you stay on top of that and make it a little bit more manageable?
Yeah, so many accounts many savings accounts will have the ability to bucket. One account that comes to mind is Ally, not affiliated, but I love their tool. So you have a savings account and they have the ability to create 10 buckets. Each bucket should be for different expenses that you have, and then you automate your savings there. So if you know you have some big purchases coming up, and you're right, inflation is challenging, so you want to adjust your savings for inflation. But if you know you have that coming up at the end of the year, for example, holidays, create a bucket and automate your savings into that bucket so that when November comes and you're buying gifts, you're not scrambling or using a credit card with high interest to buy those gifts. You've already saved for that in a bucket.
And part of making smarter choices is about making a plan, prioritizing expenses as well. Why is that so key?
Absolutely. So if you don't have a plan, you don't really know where you're going, right? You always need a roadmap. And often, if you don't have a plan, you end up scrambling and using a credit card. Credit cards have high interest rates, and listen, credit cards are great tools if you use them correctly, but you don't want to. You want to make that choice as opposed to be forced to use that. And when you think about prioritizing where your money goes, you really want to have that emergency fund, which is 3 to 6 months worth of living expenses, and you want to pay down any double-digit debt because it's probably costing you a lot more than you're making in an investment account or a savings account. After those two things are accounted for, you want to look at retirement savings and make sure that that is well funded as well.
And when it comes to budgeting, there's a lot of great apps out there to help with in terms of technology.
Absolutely. One that I think of is You Need a Budget. I think that one's really great, and there's many other ones as well.
Beats the old school Excel spreadsheet that many of us have built.
Though I have to tell you, I love an Excel spreadsheet myself. So
it helps,
whatever works for you, right? That's what matters.
Well, Maggie, thank you so much for all the tips. As always, very helpful. And we'll put those on our website as well, fox61.com.